The film begins with Jenny remembering a bad thing that happened to her. This made her act very angry and scared around men. Jenny then changes her name to Angela. After that, she starts seeing a personal doctor named Dr. D. There, she tells Dr. D that she has scary dreams and remembers sad things from her past. She suggests Angela join a group where people who were hurt and didn't get justice can talk and share their stories. Meanwhile, at Angela's job, a coworker named Matthew wants to be friends with her. But Angela is always mean and rude to him because she is still dealing with her trauma and mental health issues. The next day, Angela went jogging. But some local bullies, led by a guy named Chief, started bothering her. This made her remember when she had to kill the men who hurt her. Seeing Angela scared, Chief decided to let her go. That evening, Angela was waiting for the bus to go home. Soon, Matthew came by and offered her a ride. But she said no and used mean words, acting like all men were bad. Upon hearing that, Matthew felt hurt and left her. Later, Angela went to the rape counseling club that Dr. D suggested. The club leader, Lynn, told Angela that everyone in the club shares their stories to help each other. But when Lynn asked Angela to share her story, she said no. After that, Lynn invited Angela to take a break. When Angela was getting coffee, a man named Oscar, the only guy in the counseling club, came over to talk. He tried to get to know Angela, but he left when another member named Marla came to get coffee. There, Marla told Angela that Oscar's daughter had died because the person who hurt her was let go. This made Oscar's daughter very sad, and she chose to end her life. Marla then invited Angela to go outside for a smoke and shared that she had another reason for joining the club. At that time, Marla planned to get revenge on the people who hurt them. When Angela left the club, Chief and his friend stopped her. But Marla suddenly appeared and yelled at Chief, leaving him speechless. Long story short, they decided to drink at Marla's usual hangout spot to relax. They started sharing their stories and thoughts about rape. Marla, who has some pretty extreme and psychopathic ideas, told Angela not to trust the police. Marla said they could only rely on themselves to solve their problems. From that night, they became closer, and Angela started to believe what Marla said. The next day, Angela carried a stun gun in her bag and went to the counseling club. There was a new member named Cassie. She is a girl whose father left her after divorcing her mother. Now, Cassie lives with her mom, who is sad about the divorce. But her mom found new happiness with Ron, Cassie's stepdad. The reason Cassie joined the club is that Ron harassed her. When Cassie told her mom got angry and didn't believe her. Cassie hoped to solve her problem, but Lynn explained that the club only helps with healing and forgiveness, not solving problems. After that, Angela and Marla talked about Cassie's problem of living with her stepdad, who hurt her. Soon, an old man joined their conversation, defending men. This annoyed Angela and Marla. Later, the old man got very drunk and decided to go home. Angela and Marla followed him. When he was about to unlock his house door, Marla suddenly pulled down his pants and screamed at him, making him so scared that he wet his pants. The next day, Angela and Marla went shopping at the mini-market. Marla picked up a grass clipper and joked that it was a tool for hurting male genitals. Hearing that, Angela smiled at the grass clippers because it reminded her of her dark past. Then, Angela picked up a weapon, thinking about fighting. Just then, a man walked by and accidentally touched her butt. At that time, Angela imagined hitting the man's stomach and head with the hammer she was holding, but it was just her imagination. Long story short, Angela and Marla went to Cassie's house and watched her family from a distance. They saw that Cassie looked depressed, while Ron went to work like everything was normal. Unexpectedly, Angela and Marla followed Ron to his workplace. Marla wanted to get back at Ron for what he did to Cassie. Angela felt scared and uncomfortable, asking Marla to stop. But Marla just smiled as Ron was about to leave work and told Angela to make up her mind. Sometime later, when Ron was about to go home, Marla appeared wearing a mask and hit Ron on the head. But before she hit him, Marla said sorry. Ron got scared and gave Marla his wallet, thinking she was a robber. Soon after, Angela came over and tried to stop Marla, while Marla told Ron to stop bothering women. Then, Marla and Angela left, taking Ron's wallet and using the money to eat. Long story short, at the counseling club, Cassie said Ron was acting a little better after he told her he hit his head. This made Angela and Marla happy because it seemed like what they did worked. Cassie hoped Ron wouldn't hit his head again and stay normal. Hearing this, Marla told Cassie that if Ron started acting badly again, she should just hit him on the head. And Lynn, who didn't want any talk of violence, quickly told Marla to stop. But there, Marla, tired of Lynn's advice, said it was time for the women to take action themselves. After the club meeting ended, Marla was in a hurry to leave, so Angela stopped her and asked her to celebrate their success. But Marla couldn't celebrate because she had problems with her ex-boyfriend. She promised to celebrate the next day and left without letting Angela help her. The next day, Matthew tried to invite Angela to drink with their office friends. Angela was a bit nicer to Matthew than before. However, she refused the invitation because she had plans with Marla. Long story short, Angela waited for Marla at their usual cafe. They were supposed to drink together, but Marla didn't show up, so Angela decided to go to the club alone. When Angela arrived, Lynn suddenly hugged her and tried to calm her down, which shocked and confused her. There, Lynn told Angela that Marla was gone. At that moment, Angela couldn't believe what happened to her friend and imagined pushing Lynn to the ground and beating her, but it was just in her head. Soon after, a detective named McDillon arrived. He was looking into Marla's death and collecting evidence. However, Oscar didn't like the detective being there because Oscar's daughter had died because of hurting herself after the person who hurt her escaped the law, so Oscar no longer trusted the police. And Angela, who didn't know anything about Marla's death, tried to talk to McDillon to ask what happened. She offered to tell him everything he wanted to know about Marla. Soon after, Angela invited McDillon to the cafe where she and Marla usually spent time together. There, she told him that Marla seemed worried and anxious the day before because of a problem with her ex-boyfriend. Angela was sure that Marla's ex-boyfriend had killed her. After meeting with McDillon, Angela was on her way home. However, Chief and his friends confronted her again. Chief made Angela angry by saying bad things about Marla. When Chief touched Angela's cheek, she imagined fighting back and killing them all, but it was just a hallucination. The next day, Angela saw on the news that Marla's ex-boyfriend was found not guilty of her murder. This made Angela very angry, so she rushed to the police station to talk to Detective McDillon. However, McDillon's explanation didn't satisfy Angela, making her realize that the law couldn't be trusted. When Angela got home, she was furious and started smashing things. She made a knife sheath to tie to her thigh, planning to take revenge. On that emotional night, Angela dressed like Marla and saw Donald, Marla's ex-boyfriend. Angela approached Donald and led him to a quiet place. Donald followed her and tried to kiss her, but Angela refused and insulted him. Then, Donald got angry and grabbed Angela's hair, forcing her towards him. Remembering her past, Angela quickly pulled a knife from under her skirt and attacked Donald, stabbing and biting him until he was seriously hurt. The next day, Detective McDillon came to Angela's office and told her that Donald had been murdered. McDillon said Angela was the main suspect because she was very angry and upset when Donald was set free. This made her very offended, and she told McDillon to leave her office immediately. Long story short, when Angela gathered again with the counseling club, Cassie told again what she had experienced at home. Ron, who had previously repented, is now acting up again, and this time his perverted attitude is even worse because Cassie is telling the story while crying. And Oscar, who was fed up with hearing Cassie's story, immediately said that Ron had to respond to his perverted behavior. According to Oscar, Ron deserved getting bad treatment. But there, Lynn, who is the club president who loves peace and does not want violence, then asked Oscar to leave so as not to further provoke the other members. However, Angela actually agreed with Ron's opinion and planned revenge against Ron. Long story short, Ron just wanted to close his shop. However, Angela came looking like a high school student. There, she asked Ron for the address she wanted to go to, and he offered to take Angela to her destination. When we arrived at the location, the building looked empty and uninhabited. And Ron, who was brave, went in first to have a look. Once inside, Angela tried to tempt him by sleeping on the bed. The perverted Ron was immediately seduced by Angela. However, she immediately electrocuted Ron until he fainted. When he realized, Ron was tied to a chair with his trousers down. Angela also took an iron pipe and asked Ron to smoke it. After he complied with her orders, Angela felt dissatisfied and immediately hit Ron on the head, then pushed him to the ground. After that, She lubricated the iron pipe she was holding with oil, then do the unthinkable. It didn't stop there. Angela felt that the pipe was still long, then took a hammer and hit the pipe until it stuck and killed Ron instantly. The next day, Lynn came with Detective Boyle, who was the head of the local police detectives. It was seen that Oscar didn't like the arrival of the detectives. Unexpectedly, Boyle started by asking Oscar about the death of Ron, Cassie's stepfather. Oscar was suspected because of his threat last night that Ron deserved bad things happen to him. The police knew about this because Lynn had reported it. Then, Oscar was taken to the office for further interrogation. The next day, Angela met Oscar at the police station and they told each other. Angela tells about her past and Oscar tells what his daughter experienced. The essence of their discussion is that law and justice can no longer be trusted. Now, Angela's goal is to find Watson, the man who hurt Oscar's daughter and got away because there wasn't any DNA evidence. Then, she started following a big man who was actually Watson. Eventually, Watson noticed someone was following him, and Angela confronted him. But Watson pushed her away and hit her. Just when Watson was about to harm Angela, McDillon arrived and stopped Watson. The next day, Angela was questioned by Detective Boyle. From the questions, Boyle started to suspect her. When he asked about the photo of a little child on her necklace, Angela said it was to remember something. However, Boyle knew the child in the photo was the daughter of a sheriff who was killed in a past incident. Boyle also knew that Angela was actually Jenny, but Angela said she didn't want to be Jenny anymore. In the end, Angela became a suspect in several cases after Boyle uncovered her true identity. Unexpectedly, Oscar showed up looking hurt and confessed to all the incidents. Angela was shocked by his confession. Although Angela was released, she was still watched by the police. When Angela got home, she saw a police car in front of her house, which made her upset. She started breaking things to vent her frustration. Soon after, she left the house through the back door wearing a striking red outfit. Long story short, Angela met Matthew and offered to buy herself a drink. However, Matthew refused because he thought Angela was drunk and wanted to take her home. But she thought Matthew wanted to hurt her, so she took out a knife, and he quickly left, shocked. As the night went on, Angela started walking barefoot while McDillon followed her without her knowing. In the park, Chief appeared and teased Angela again. Angela hid the knife in her hand and tried to trick him into lowering his guard. When Chief followed her orders, Angela attacked, but Chief dodged and hit her, making her fall. When Chief tried to hurt Angela, McDillon suddenly arrived. Angela took the opportunity to turn the situation around and corner Chief. There, McDillon tried to calm Angela down and asked her to drop the knife. However, Angela ignored him and ended up harming Chief, a thug who always teased her. 2 years later, Angela is in a therapy room with Dr. D. Angela is wearing prison clothes because she has been in prison for 2 years and is now released on probation for therapy. When Angela walked out, 2 female prisoners attacked her because she had many enemies in prison. Even though she was surrounded, Angela won the fight. Not long after, Dr. D heard the commotion and came out of her room. Suddenly, Angela imagined stabbing Dr. D, but it was just a delusion, and the film ended. The moral lesson from this film is don't go around poking people with knives, or you'll end up making friends with the wrong kind of people and having weird daydreams in prison. Lesson learned that therapy is better than stabbing.